All right, I'm Nick. Now, I just came back inside. I sat down at the computer. I put the SD card in there to edit the video, and there was no audio, which is completely my fault. So I just filmed the shooting video outside comparing the Hellcat Pro Comp to the Shield Plus Carry Comp, and I was excited to come in and edit that video. Sometimes I film videos and I'm not excited about the topic maybe, or not passionate about it, or just don't care or something like that. And that wasn't the case. I was excited. I went out, I shot the video, tons of information that was useful, flowed well, all those good things that you want. We have another YouTube channel, so it's very easy to talk about certain things and do well because you're confident, you're very, very familiar with it, and you're comfortable talking to the same people every day. And we're finally probably getting to that point where we weren't. And everything was wonderful except for there was no audio. Now, there were some things I filmed in that video that I wanted to sit down at the table and talk about like this because it'll give you guys a better view. I won't be able to refilm that video again tomorrow, but I'll film it again on probably Saturday, okay? So we're going to sit here, we're going to weigh the guns, we're going to talk about the trigger, weigh the trigger, talk about magazine options, concealment, whatever else, and give you guys some information I just couldn't give you outside because you couldn't see it very well. So first off, we're going to start off with weight. We're going to weigh it without a magazine, obviously no ammo. You guys can't see that, but it's 19.1 ounces for the Shield Carry Comp, and then the Hellcat Pro Comp will weigh in at 18 even. Not a huge difference, but people ask these questions, so here we are. Sometimes the listed weights on the websites are not perfect. We've learned that over the years for all kinds of stuff. Magazines. Let's talk about how the guns, how tall or how long the grip is on these pistols. With the flush-fitting 15-round magazine on the Hellcat Comp, it is that tall. But if you put the 15-round magazine in the Shield Plus, the Shield Plus is actually quite a bit taller than the Hellcat Pro Comp. When you're going to talk about concealing the gun, obviously the grip being long may or may not help you conceal that pistol. One of the things I do like about the Shield series is you can take this and turn it into a 13-round magazine. And now they're about the same height. You do have 2 less rounds, but the gun will also weigh a bit less because ammo has a weight. And if you're wearing athletic wear or something that may not be the best for holding up a lot of weight, then the 10-round magazine on the Shield Plus is also a bit shorter, making the grip easier to conceal and the overall weight of the pistol lighter, which some people may not care. I live in a very hot, humid, muggy place. I'm very active for work. I'm on my feet. I'm moving all day for the most part, up and down, computer, CNC machine, whatever I'm doing. And a smaller platform is nice for me most of the time. So that's that. That's magazine. And then the only downfall of this is the most rounds you can put in there is 15, whereas with the Springfield Hellcat, you can put an 18-round magazine in there, which does make the pistol grip much longer, but it's the same size as the 15 from the Shield Plus. So you can go 18 to 15. It's the same size. Those are things for people to consider if you're going to carry it. Now, we've talked about magazines and length for a long time, so let's get the heck out of there and move on. It is information that somebody wanted, probably bored somebody else half to death. Overall length of the pistol. Now, the Shield Plus Carry Comp is a 4-inch pistol. It's built on their 4-inch platform. It is a bit longer than the Hellcat Pro Comp. Some folks will say a longer barrel is easier to conceal because it sits out better, sits down in there further. That's all personal preference. I think everyone is built different. Every holster is a bit different. You could have a wedge. That stuff could change. I don't see a big difference. As we talked about a bunch of times on the channel, I typically conceal this, which is a Shield Plus with 3.1-inch barrel. Fits in there. Now, this holster is designed for the 4-inch version, so this fits in there perfectly, and I have no problem concealing it. This is a fine system. It works well, okay? So I don't think you'll have any issues with the different length of barrel as far as concealing goes. It's just something that someone asked a question about. One of the next things that has probably been mentioned the most is the rail or lack of rail on the Shield Plus Carry Comp or any of the Shields or Shield Pluses. The Hellcat Pro Comp does have a rail which will allow you to mount your light up there, whatever you want to put. I'm not a real big fan of having a light on an EDC, especially a subcompact EDC. It's just not for me, okay? But that is there. Things we discussed in the video that you guys can't hear is the front sights. The front sights are pretty much identical. They're green. It's the same thing, okay? Night sights, that's wonderful. The rear sights, they're both U-notch rear sights. The Shield Plus Carry Comp just has black serration, just blacked out, whereas the Hellcat Pro Comp, it has a white U on there. I don't think you'll have any issues with either one of them. I do prefer it being all black, so if I decided to carry this, I would take a Sharpie and I would make that rear sight all black. No reason to change it. A little bit of Sharpie and you're good to go. Other things to consider is the shape of the grip. This is very, we'll say 2x4-ish. It's very harsh, okay? And you can feel that in your hand when you shoot it, and it's probably one of the reasons people say that it recoils a bunch, is because how this hits your hand, whereas the Shield Plus itself is very oval, and it fits in your hand much better, which means the palm of your hand absorbs that pressure much different than that. Okay, overall, I think they're both great pistols. We'll take these magazines out, and we will compare the trigger weights. Now, we've done this somewhere in a short video. This trigger on the Shield Plus Carry Comp should break at 4.5 pounds. We've tested it a bunch. It's there every time. All right, just between 4.5 and 5. I'm a big fan of this trigger. I like how it comes to a wall, very clean and crisp. Bam, 4.5 pounds pressure, wonderful. Now, the Hellcat Pro Comp, the trigger gets a lot of bad rap because the take-up weight, there is definitely take-up there. You can feel it. There's no question about it. It is significantly heavier than, I mean, it takes almost 2.5 pounds, maybe a little less, 2.5 pounds to get that trigger back to the wall. Now, it broke at 6 pounds that time. It typically breaks between 5.5 and 6. That has become to be the standard. My dog is in there making noises. Maybe you guys can hear that. That's the standard though, 5.5 to 6. I don't think it's a bad trigger. I'll talk about that more in a video on Saturday. I think you have to train with anything to get used to it. As far as duty or defensive trigger goes, you can shoot that just fine once you are used to it, okay? It's just a matter of your brain and your muscles getting used to it. Things to consider, and I asked my wife this, and I set a bunch of guns up here on the table, and I asked her which pistol was harder to rack. Now, she doesn't shoot a lot. She just doesn't find it interesting or, you know, any kind of passion towards it. However, she does put up with all my nonsense, and she racked the guns, and she says that this right here, the Shield Plus Carry Comp, is harder to rack. And that is without a question, this gun is harder to rack. Now, does that matter to me? No, I can run the gun, no big deal. But for someone who is just going to do this, this slide is considerably smoother than the slide on the Shield Plus Carry Comp. And the Shield Plus Carry Comp has way more rounds on it than the Hellcat Pro Comp. Now, obviously the video is getting a little long for sitting at this table, but it's a bunch of information about those guns that you may find useful. If you did, go down to the comment section. Let me know. The feedback helps a ton. I hate that the audio didn't work out. I'm really upset about that. But we're going to refilm that on Saturday so I can be thorough again. But that's that. If you guys have questions or anything like that, leave them down in the comment section. Thanks for watching.